the Mount Rushmore of NXT Black and Gold. And this was prompted, Andy, by, of course, Tommaso Ciampa leaving for AEW, being a staple of the black and gold version of NXT. And the fact that, Andy, I can't believe that in all the Mount Rushmore segments that we've done, we've never done this one.
Yeah.
So here's the way I want to lay this out. I want you to give me your 4. Again, it's Mount Rushmore. There has to be just 4.
Yeah.
With no explanation. I just want 4 names.
Okay.
And then I'm going to give you my 4 names. Then we can explain how we got to the 4 that we got to, because there's a scenario where there's a couple of our names. We're not going to have the same 4. There's zero chance we're going to have the same 4.
Yeah.
There's a scenario where we might have 2, maybe even 3 that are the same.
Yeah.
There's a real good chance that none of them are going to be the same. And I'm kind of excited about that.
I think we'll have 1.
Okay, you're going to call it 1.
We'll have 1. I think we'll have 1.
Okay.
Maybe 2, but I'm going to lean with 1.
I'll be interested to see which one it is, because I'm running through my head of which one. Okay. Give me your 4 to start with. 4 names.
Okay, 4 names. No particular order.
No particular order.
4 names.
Right. Yep, 4 names.
Finn Balor.
Okay.
Bayley.
Okay.
Asuka. And Adam Cole.
Wow. We have 3 names that are the same. We have 3 names that are the same.
Yeah.
Okay. So my 4 names. So this might not be a too difficult of a conversation.
I had a backup 4 though too. I can give you if I need to switch mine.
Of course you do. My 4 names: Finn Balor, Asuka, Adam Cole, and you know who my 4th is. It's Mr. NXT. It's Johnny Gargano. So why? Let's start with the difference. We're not going to debate this back and forth, right? Because Bayley was probably number 5 on my list, if I'm being honest. Why Bayley?
Because she has, I don't even know if it's arguably, has the greatest, if not one of the greatest women's matches in WWE history in NXT. Her counterpart is in my other one, so I think that's definitely part of it. It's just also like that era of NXT. Obviously, the women's wrestling was a massive part of it.
Yes,
like it was more of a massive part in NXT than it was on the main roster at that point. Like it was one of the staples, and for her. I think the reason why it was like, yeah, you can put Charlotte in that conversation, but it really came down to Sasha and Bayley.
Yes, it did.
And Bayley always felt like the NXT girl. Mm-hmm. Sasha was always the girl that you're like, she's main roster bound. She's gonna be awesome in the main roster. Bayley's ours. Don't touch Bayley. Like Bayley is our NXT girl. That's where the chant of, in London, that's where they sang to her for the first time. The Bayley buddies, like the whole presentation of it. So I think she, in an era where women's wrestling was not supposed to be that big of a deal, she made it to where it had to be a big deal. Her and Sasha made it to where it had to be at the top of the top.
And so many people called out WWE when she didn't get called up with the others. And so many people were so mad. But Andy, you just laid out the reason why she didn't.
Yeah.
Like that's the reason. Like she was, if anybody was going to hold down the fort in NXT and bring the next crop of girls up, it was Bayley. 100% it was Bayley. So I think you're absolutely right. Let me defend my difference and my Mount Rushmore. And I thought I defended it pretty well when I say Johnny Gargano is Mr. NXT. Like to me, the embodiment of what NXT means: heart, soul, underdog, the fight. Nobody embodies that more than Johnny Gargano, in my opinion. Dude had the first 5-star match in NXT history with Andrade?
First one in NXT history, the first one in WWE, and like since Punk, since the Punk Cena match.
Punk Cena, yep. So, I mean, come on, we're not going by star ratings here, but I'm just saying, to me, again, this is opinion. Peak NXT was Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa. Like, to me, that defines NXT Black and Gold. And you can make the argument for Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn all day long. You can make that argument. But that's what established NXT. Ciampa Gargano, I feel like it was this huge dichotomy of the rebel heart, the white meat baby face, the underdog versus this dastardly psychotic heel that we had never seen in that era of wrestling. I guess there wasn't anybody on the main roster that was doing what Tommaso Ciampa was doing as a heel in NXT, and it was believable. And you had Johnny on the other side as the foil. I don't know, man. I just feel like, again, he just embodies everything that NXT Black and Gold was. You could make the same argument for Finn Balor, who is probably, Andy, the greatest NXT champion of all time.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely the men's greatest. I think the greatest NXT champion of any of them is Asuka. Like, Asuka's the greatest. I think Asuka's the greatest wrestler to ever walk through NXT.
There's a reason that we don't have to sit here and defend Asuka being on our Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Like, the body of work just speaks for itself.
When you sent this to me that we were doing this, two names instantly went up, and it was Finn and it was Asuka. Like, they were the first two. That was like, I can't move these two.
Nope.
These two have to be on this list. And Finn was the first. I guess he would have been at least one of the first, if not the first, to go from not just independent wrestling, but like the leader of the Bullet Club left to go here to be a part of the developmental brand to make it what it was.
Would you say that he was the first like international star to come to NXT, with the exception of, who was the guy?
You had Neville, who was Pac. I mean, you had Pac, who was in there.
Hideo Itami.
You had Hideo Itami. But he was always hurt. I mean, he was always hurt.
Yeah, I know.
But I guess he would be like the first, like, big time. Like, Pac was always there. Pac was champion at one point, all of that.
It's true,
but not to the extent of what Finn became.
Right.
And, you know, again, another name that I mean, he didn't make it on my two Mount Rushmores that I made, but he's right on the outside. Samoa Joe is another one that, like, I think the only reason why he's not on there is because I think more of TNA when I think of him.
Yes, for sure.
But the feud between him and Finn for that NXT championship, to me, when I think of Black and Gold NXT, that's what I think of. I think of Finn and I think of Joe, because they killed it every single time they got in the ring together. So I think Finn was the first cool guy to come into NXT and to be like, this is better than the main roster. Like, what they're doing up there can't hold a light to us. I mean, this is during the time period where, I mean, we talked about it. I was more excited for takeovers than I was Mania.
For sure.
I was more excited for takeovers than I was SummerSlam, because I knew even the worst match on the card was going to be better than anything the main roster produced.
Yep.
And Finn was at the heart of that.
And then he passed that torch on to Adam Cole, who absolutely, I can't move him off of my Mount Rushmore for the simple fact that anytime the bell rang and that dude was in the ring, he was stealing the show.
Yeah.
There was no doubt of the dude is the NXT version of Prime Shawn Michaels, in my opinion. Cannot have a bad match. He just can't. I think it's impossible for Adam Cole to have a bad match. I really do. 400 plus days as NXT champion, and you could speak to this more than me. But in going through the Rolodex of indie stars that came to NXT, he might be at the top of the list. I know KO had his thing on the indies, and I know Sammy had his thing on the indies, and of course Seth Rollins, as Tyler Black, and this, that, and the other, yada yada. But I just feel like for as big of a star as Adam Cole was on the indies, coming to NXT, I don't know. I just feel like that might have been the biggest one with the biggest impact, maybe.
The biggest impact on NXT, I think so. I think if we're talking like the biggest impact in WWE, I think it's either KO or Seth. I think it's
for sure. Yes.
But absolutely. For what he did, I mean, this was the time period where they always showed the next big signing in the crowd. Right, like they showed Drew in the crowd. They would show Asuka in the crowd. They would show they show Bobby Roode in the crowd. Like they showed everybody in the crowd. They didn't show Adam Cole because he ran in at the end of the night after Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish stood, and the pop that he got was huge. And then you look on social media right after, and everybody's fear, or everybody always said, well, if he went here, nobody would know who he was. The whole arena did the Bebe thing with him, like the whole arena did it with him. I was at the only Survivor Series where it was Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT. You know what the best match of that night was? Pete Dunne versus Adam Cole, and it was not even close. Like it wasn't like it. The men's Survivor Series match was great because of Keith Lee, who I had a hard time not putting on this list too. But like Adam Cole was the embodiment of Finn Balor started we're going to be better than the main roster.
Yep.
Adam Cole was like, I'm proving that nobody can touch us.
Yep.
Nobody can touch us. I mean, there's a reason why when the whole Saudi Arabia stuff happened and everybody got trapped, the first person they set up a match with was him and Daniel Bryan.
Yes.
Like, why? Because that's the match of the matches that everybody wants to see.
And then, if that wasn't enough, when they got back, they called him again and said, hey, why don't you go wrestle Seth Rollins on Monday? Yeah. They don't do that for everybody.
No. Like, Kevin Owens was the only one that came in and got the big win over Cena right away. Yeah. And then Finn came in and won the Fatal 4-Way, beat Roman, won the Universal title, all that. But in back-to-back weeks, not even weeks, back-to-back shows, to beat Daniel Bryan, who's at the top of the top, and Seth Rollins, who's at the top of the top. I mean, it's a shame. It's a shame we didn't get him on the main roster. It's also not a shame because I was afraid of what Vince was going to do to him.
Yeah.
So I think it worked out best for everybody. But that NXT run of his, I mean, from start to finish, is almost unbeatable by anybody.
Yep. And then you just side him with Fish, O'Reilly, and Roddy Strong, and that just the undisputed era was and forever will be the greatest faction in NXT history and one of the top factions in WWE history. I mean, their run of War Games matches. I was there in New Orleans the night Roddy joined, and insane. Absolutely insane the impact that Adam Cole had on NXT. Okay, before we get out of here, who's your second Mount Rushmore? I need to know your next four.
So my next four, I had Johnny.
Okay.
I had Sasha.
Okay.
And then I had Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
Okay. I thought when I put this segment together, I thought for sure Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were making your list. At least one of them. At least.
When I thought about it, like the Sami was the hardest one not to put on the four.
Okay.
Just because I think everything you said about Johnny, Sami did first.
Okay.
Which I mean, again, I think they both did their part perfect. I think the only reason why I would have edged Johnny a little higher is because Johnny also made the tag division what the tag division was during its heyday.
First Triple Crown winner in NXT history.
Yeah. But then on the flip side, like WrestleMania weekend in Dallas, you know what the match everybody was talking about?
Yes.
Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn, because it might have been one of the greatest NXT matches of all time. So I had a hard time not putting Sami on there.
And that night, didn't Finn wrestle Joe that night too?
Finn wrestled Joe. But then Sami pulled double duty because he wrestled in the ladder match the next night.
He did at WrestleMania. Yep.
Yeah, that's the one that Cardona won, ended up winning.
Yes.
But then like Kevin Owens was the first great heel in NXT to come in as a babyface his first night, and then by the end of the night turn on his best friend who won the NXT championship, and then at the next big show, like, didn't even pin him, just beat him to a pulp until the referee stopped it and he took the title.
Yep.
Like, again, I think that's why I had Sami and KO just a little above Gargano and Ciampa, because they were so similar in everything they did.
Yep.
But Sami and KO bled much better into the main roster than Johnny and Ciampa did. But everything, like, again, this might have been the hardest Mount Rushmore that you've ever asked me to do, because there's so many.
I knew it.
Like, I wanted to be like, well, we got to have 4 for the men, 4 for the women, because I think there's like Shayna Baszler. Like, I think Shayna Baszler should be on this list. You know,
Io Sky should be
Io Sky. You know, Kairi Sane, I think, has an argument to be on this list. Rhea Ripley has an argument to be on this list.
Yes.
You know, tag teams like the Revival. How do we not put the Revival? How do we not put Alpha Academy? How do we not put even AOP during their heydays? Factions. I mean, you've got Undisputed Era. You've got Sanity. You've got the Wyatt family. You had. I'm not counting the Way because I thought the Way wasn't that great.
Hey, they were fun.
Oh, there's another one I just thought about. It floated away. But there's another faction in there that I think could have been really, really special. So I think
Pat McAfee's faction.
The one time that they did anything. Yeah. But like I think the black and gold era of NXT.
Dude, neither of us mentioned Walter. Neither of us
Keith Lee.
mentioned Keith Lee.
Dominic Dijakovic. Like,
jeez.
There's so many names.
Aleister Black.
Karrion Kross.
I mean, Karrion Kross. Good grief.
Yeah. I mean, there's just so many. I mean, even in the early days, you had Seth Rollins, you had Big E, you had Neville, you had Bo Dallas, who, you know, look at what he's doing now.
Jinder Mahal was a champion.
No, he wasn't. He fought the championship.
No, he was in it. That's right.
He fought. Right. Yeah, don't scare me like that. But like the black and gold era of NXT was the alternative before AEW was around.
Yes.
Like, we had no need for AEW because we had that version of NXT.
Black and golden. Yep.
And that's all we needed.
Yep.
And so again, if you go back and listen, like the thing I'm the most wrong about I've ever been on this podcast was Braun Breaker.
Yes.
But that Andy was absolutely right in that moment to say what he said about it all, just because it came to an end. But it should go down as one of the greatest eras of wrestling.
Yep.
Is that black and gold?